Hey, hello everyone. Astrologer Muthuvijayan from my own state has joined me today to talk about his new venture, which is Jyothish GPT. So I think he has a background in information technology, and I think he has put the latest artificial intelligence technology to kind of assist astrologers and enthusiasts across the world, very particularly Vedic astrology. So thanks, sir, for joining. And now the stage is yours. So what is Jyotish GPT, and how did you get this motivation to kind of get into this venture? Because I think this is probably the first ever, uh, uh, you know, some artificial intelligence setup that is exclusively for astrology, let alone Vedic astrology.
Sure. Thank you, Ishwan. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to talk to your channel. So GPT is something like a very relatively new technology. Actually, the OpenAI released the ChatGPT version in November 2022, right? So, and within this release, within this 3-4 months, it has grown very popular. So in the month of February, after a couple of months of release of GPT, I thought, okay, there is an option to customize the Chat GPT to your own model. So that when I came to know about that particular model, then I thought, okay, why don't we try it for a astrology domain? So that's how the idea of Jyothish GPT come into the picture. So I have some slides to show what is the chat GPT, like how we can customize for our own needs. So maybe I can share, so that will give much more clarity on this topic.
Okay.
So you are able to see my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay, so the Jyothish GPT is the first AI trained astrology chatbot. Okay, so we are going to see about this for next 10-15 minutes. So OpenAI is an AI research and deployment company, and they are the one they are working for in GPT model for a couple of years, I guess. And the GPT-3 model was something released in 2020, but the improved version of GPT-3 was released in November 2022, and which is what they call it as a Chat GPT. Okay, and most of the people might know already about Chat GPT. So it is an AI language model that has been trained on a massive amount of text data from the internet, and it is the unique feature of ChatGPT is like it is capable of generating a human-like response to the natural language inputs. Like if you something like you and me are talking now, right? So similarly, you can talk to the GPT. Like you can ask questions in your own language, like in the English language, in a human-like input, and the GPT will also give a response as like a human. So that's the unique feature of ChatGPT. So this is something like a major shift in the technology, because previously we have our own language and computer have its own language. Like if you want to develop a software, so what you need to do, like you need to provide the inputs in a computer understandable language. Like if you want to develop a software, like for example, even if you want to write a astrology software, so you may be astrology expert, domain expert, and you need to translate that domain expertise to a machine language. So from that machine language, it will basically process it and it will give back the results. So that's the whole idea of software, how software works. But GPT is something, yeah, completely a new shift. So basically, the GPT is completely trained with the natural language. Okay. Now, whatever subject, whether it is an astrology or like a finance or whatever subject, you give it in a plain English, it will able to process it and it will able to reply. It will able to get trained in that particular domain and it will able to reply your queries. So that's the complete shift from a software to a artificial intelligence language model. So this is a great shift in the technology. So the GPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. So basically what it happened, so it is a machine language algorithm. So based upon the natural language, it is already trained in the natural language. Now if you give a particular domain expertise knowledge, say if you give a book or if you give a kind of an article, it will read that, because it is already aware of English language, and it will train that particular model, then transform it into a human-like text. And with that, it can able to generate a human-like a response. Okay, once after the GPT is trained with your own domain knowledge, it will able to give a human-like response to that query in that particular domain. Okay, so this is the whole idea of GPT. This is something, a new shift, because so far, like whenever someone have some doubt in a particular domain, they will go and search for Google, right? So it's fundamentally different from the Google search. In the Google, basically, if I ask some question related to astrology, it will try to give all the results in the internet. It will try to search all the results in the internet and put you in front of you to choose whatever that is relevant to you. But whereas the ChatGPT is completely different. If I ask a very specific question, it will give the specific answer in the human language. So this is a major shift. So Google is still helpful to find an answer in a large internet, but GPT is more like a human-to-human interaction. Like if you want to have a human-to-human kind of interaction, GPT is the latest tool. So immediately after release of GPT by OpenAI, they also announced that anyone can use OpenAI API to fine-tune their own custom models. So this is, after reading this only, I got an interest. Okay, why don't we try it for the astrology domain? Okay, and ChatGPT uses the model called GPT 3.5. Okay, so they developed several models, of which the GPT 3.5 is something used by ChatGPT. Of course, after GPT 3.5 release, now GPT 4 is already released, but still the ChatGPT is using the GPT 3.5 turbo model. Okay, and exactly the same model I am also trying using in this JYOTHISHGPT. Okay, so let me explain like how I am able to call that API, what are the libraries required to make modifications to our custom model. So all those things I am explaining. I'm going to explain.
Okay. Okay.
So there is a concept called LLM. LLM is like a large language model. So basically GPT is trained in a large language model. So it already trained in English. With that, all the data from the internet, like large amount of data, like it can be a documents, Wikipedia, several research papers, everything is fed into the GPT-3. So with the large language model, GPT is already fine-tuned. So that's how the ChatGPT is working today. But the LLM should be fine-tuned for a specific domain, like because it's already having all kind of knowledge in the internet. If you ask any domain-specific question, sometimes it may give answer, but sometimes the answers may be wrong, because in its large amount of data set, if the particular domain knowledge is not fed, it will not able to give the answer. Sometimes it may even hallucinate, sometimes give some different answers. So that if you want to fine-tune for your particular domain, whether it is astrology or medical industry or whatever, you need to take the LLM model and you need to fine-tune to your specific model. Okay, so fine-tune, the meaning of fine-tune is like feeding the model with example text. Basically, in our case, it is a Vedic astrology. So like if you have, for example, Ashwin already written a book, right? So if you feed your book to this LLM model, so it will completely train with your book, and whatever queries if you ask in that book, it will give the answer in a human-like format. So that's the beauty of OpenAI thing. And in order to train the OpenAI with the LLM, so we need a couple of libraries. One is called LLAMAINDEX and another is LANGCHAIN. Like both are like a dependable library. So LLAMAINDEX and LANGCHAIN are dependent to each other. So this LLAMAINDEX is like formally it is called as GPT index. So recently they changed it as LLAMAINDEX. So this LLAMAINDEX provides the interface between the external data and the LLM. Like LLM is, I already told you, it's a large language model. Now this large language model should be connected with your domain specific data. So to connect this your data with LLM, LLAMAINDEX provides the interface. So with the LLAMAINDEX, you will be able to connect these two. So basically, it gives the data connectors to the existing data source and data formats. Like different data formats you can use. You can use a PDF file, you can give a text file, or you can even give a documents. Like it accepts several formats. So in my case, like Jyothish GPT, I prefer giving a text files in a like list of text files. Of course, when I wrote the like Jyothish fundamental concepts, I put it in a document. But when I wanted to feed into the LLM, I made it into a chunk of data. Because I wanted to, even if you wanted to improve in the future, I wanted to have in a like a separate file, so that it will be easy to update in future also. So this is the whole idea of how the Jyothish GPT is developed. So here, if you see the GPT 3.5 model, so this is what currently the Chat GPT is using. So you can use OpenAI API. So they will provide a key for you. So with that key, if you write a program, you can call the GPT 3.5 model. Okay. And what you need to do, you need to have the LLAMAINDEX library in your program. And that library have a lot of functions, like to read a file, to convert into index, to store the index as a JSON file. So a lot of this library have a lot of functions. So you need to invoke those functions. You need to keep ready with your domain expert files, like text files or documents. Then feed this to LLAMAINDEX. So then the LLAMAINDEX will read this file, convert it into index, and save it in your disk. So all your text files will be converted into index files. So index is completely like a computer understandable language. Like it has numbers and text, everything. So index file is something we cannot read, but the GPT 3.5 model can read it actually. So this index file is what Jyothish GPT is using. So basically, Jyothish GPT is a kind of an API developed. This API, what it will do, it will take the index file, call the GPT 3.5 model, and from that index file, it will search for the answer to our queries. So basically, user will give queries to Jyothish GPT. So Jyothish GPT will internally call the GPT 3.5 model and use the index file to read the answer, and finally, it will respond back. So this response will be completely like a human-like response. Your queries can also be a human-like query, and the response will also be like a human-like response. So now this is the like working model of Jyothish GPT. So Jyothish GPT API is what I developed. I used a Python language to develop this. So it uses the GPT 3.5 model. So this model is what I explained in this slide, right? So this is what this API is doing. So this is developed with Python and deployed in the Amazon Web Server. Then I developed two different software, like user interface, that is also done in Python, because I wanted user to have some interface, right? Because this is an API. So this will take the question as an input and it will reply back the response. So for user to have a user interface, I developed a user interface for Telegram and WhatsApp. So there are two bots available right now. So this interface is developed, and this is also hosted in Amazon Web Server virtual machine. So now when user types the question in this interface, it will send the query to the backend Jyothish GPT API, and this API will respond back to the user interface. So user will see the reply message. So basically, I have an authentication also, because right now I'm giving this for a limited audience. So only when they have an access. For Telegram, it is a Telegram username, and for WhatsApp, the mobile number. So basically, those are securely saved in a database. So only when the authenticated users enter the queries, it will reply back the message. So this is like a working model of Jyothish GPT today. Like any questions, Ashwin, so far? Like, is this clear?
No, I think it's for me it's very technical. So
okay.
Maybe some people who are a little enlightened in IT might get this, but for me it's very difficult. But maybe so yeah.
Okay,
but I think this is a very interesting idea where we can take astrology like without much dependency. So we can just use a mobile and ask any question to the bot, so that it responds like an actual astrologer or a friend to whom we are asking a question. So I think that is a very welcoming and a refreshing change for a common man. So maybe if someone has a doubt, they don't need to go to astrologer. So maybe they can just use this bot or even students can kind of try and make use of this. So I fall in that layman category. So this is for
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, maybe since you brought up this question, no, maybe a couple of disclaimers also I would like to mention here. So this Jyothish GPT, whether it's a chat GPT or Jyothish GPT, like whatever GPT is, right? It is basically it works on a trained data. Okay, so if you ask, even today, if you go to chat GPT, ask for a something on a futuristic, like for example, if you ask when is the next solar eclipse or lunar eclipse, it won't answer, because whatever it answers based upon the trained data, whichever is already trained. Okay, so right now I think ChatGPT is trained up to the data in 2021. Okay, beyond that it don't have that knowledge. So similarly, Jyothish GPT is also trained for the fundamentals of Vedic astrology. So with that concepts, today also it is able to give some predictions. For example, if you ask some questions like my fourth lord in the fifth house, what are the results, it will give, because it is already trained in those concepts. But the predictions what it will give, right, it is all based upon from the trained data. You should not take it as a guide and all. It can be your kind of a best personal assistant. Like instead of taking a book and refreshing your concepts, you can easily use it with a chat bot, like you, because everybody is having mobile in their hand nowadays. They can quickly ask a question, it will respond back within a minute. So that's something very easy for an astrology student. It's very, very helpful. For even for a layman, if it is like a very small doubt in their horoscope, if you know some of the technical words in the horoscope, you can just tell, and it will reply back. But most important thing, what people should understand, it's not like a software. Like even today, many people ask me, like, if I give the date of birth, will it give a predictions? No, it won't, because it is not a software. It is basically an artificial intelligence trained on a data. If you ask any specific queries that are relevant in your horoscope, it will reply. It will give the predictions also. Okay, but it is not like, it should not be used like a software, astrology software. It should be used like your personal assistant. It can be like your astrology
Maybe a
personal
small
assistant.
reference guide, kind of a small reference point uh, for some kind of
Correct, correct,
immediate things.
correct, right. It's like your assistant, personal assistance.
Right.
But it is not like a guide. You cannot take like similar, when you have a doubts, you go to astrologer, he will give a like a very deep answers, right? It will not give that kind of deep answers. It will give a high level indications in your chart based upon it when the trained data. But Jyotish is not like a very simple subject, right? You need to understand the Desha Kala Patra, like time, modern context, everything, right? So
Yes.
it can be used as your helper. Like if you have a small doubts and all, you can clarify it immediately.
So
That's
basically, astrologers work based on their intuitions beyond knowledge. So artificial intelligence does not have this intuition ability, but
correct.
just
Correct.
gives the data with which we need to understand and perceive whatever it is saying. So whatever the GPT says is not the final thing, but it can act as a reference point.
Exactly.
In many
Exactly. Even for astrologers, this is a very good starting point. For example, if you want to, if you're analyzing a horoscope and you have some doubt, instead of going to your self and taking a book and referring it, you just ask Jyothish GPT. Okay, I'm just trying to analyze a horoscope. Like I am seeing the Venus is placed in the 10th house. What are the careers I should suggest? If you ask, it will definitely tell. So
Right.
you can take that as a starting point. Then use your intuition and fine tune your prediction. So that is a good point. Okay, maybe I can show some demo, then probably people can understand. So right now for demo purpose, I am taking Telegram, although it is available in WhatsApp and Telegram. I am using a Telegram here. So basically, if you go to the Telegram and type Jyotish GPT, so you will be able to find this bot actually. Okay, but the only thing is, like right now, it will be working for the people who have access. For if you don't have access, it won't work. Okay, so now once if you click that, this is a bot. Now you can click on start. So it will read your name and it will say welcome to the Jyothish GPT, and now can assist you today. So it also provides the same disclaimer whatever I told. So Jyothish GPT give answers with your trained data. This is not to be taken as a personal advice. It may be helpful to consult a professional advisor for personalized trading. Okay, and you have some menus here. So these are the menus to understand like how to work with this bot. So if you want some help, you can click on this help. So it will tell you like how to use this bot. So so this is again the same thing, like it is a Jyothish GPT bot. How I will respond to your query based upon the astrology trained data. And it'll, if you click on the capabilities, it will say what are its capabilities. So I can understand and process natural language. As of now, I am trained to answer fundamental questions in Vedic astrology. And if you see, if you ask what is its limitation, I'm an AI trained Jyothish GPT bot. I'm not trained to analyze individual horoscope or birth charts, and I cannot give personal guidance or consultations. So this is what its limitation. And you can also see some examples like how you can ask questions. This is like a very simple example, but you can even use a like very human-like language you can use. So while giving some examples, I can type. So it can easily process the human-like human language, and it will exactly give it in the human-like format. Maybe to get started, like first I will ask a very simple question: what is astrology? Okay. So it may take some 20 to 30 seconds to give answer. So okay, so now it says astrology is a study of influence of planets and stars on human affairs. It is tool to find the good and bad times in one life. So all these things. Okay. So now you can ask Ashwin. You have any questions? Like we can ask here. Like any some basic
question. Let's put Saturn in the 8th house.
Okay. Okay. Can you tell me what happens when Saturn in the 8th house? Okay. Okay, so it gives if the Saturn in the 8th house, the person will have a long life and able to overcome struggles. However, if Saturn is afflicted, there may be a lot of sorrows and setbacks in life. It is important to note that these are general indication, and effect of Saturn in the 8th house may vary depend upon the planetary positions and aspects.
That's very good.
So basically here it says the refined answer, right? So basically what it happens, in the background when I write a program, so what it happened, like it try to find this answer in this index files, and it will try to refine that answer also. That's why it takes some 20-30 seconds, because what it happened, it takes this text, go to the index file, and it finds the answer, and it will also try to refine one more time. It's not giving the answer straight away. It try to refine the answer for betterment, and then only it will answer. So
Okay.
because of that, the answer will be definitely very qualitative answer.
Right. Yeah, I can see that. So, so I think it basically serves as a friend who's able to kind of
Correct.
point out some things that we want to know quickly.
Right. Maybe like let me go to the role of astrologer. Let's say I am using a horoscope now. The native is having Venus in the 10th house. What 10th house? Let's say I am saying exalted. Okay. What career should I suggest? Let's say what it says. Okay, based on the given context, the question is not related to the effect of Lord of 10th house. Okay, I think it's screwed up. It is not a good answer.
Right.
Okay, as an astrology bot, I can answer only queries to astrology as consulting a professional astrologer. Okay, maybe
Yeah,
the question should be, I think, little simpler. I think it's like a more like a personal advice. Maybe if I change the tone, let's say.
But I think this is a very good example of how to actually ask a question.
Yeah, correct. Venus is exalted in the 10th house. What are the results? Okay, it is the same question. I'm asking in a different tone. Okay,
So I think this time the answer will be there.
let's see. Because the first question, like I am asking like a more like a personal suggestion.
Yeah.
So maybe it is thinking that okay, I'm asking a decision. Okay, so now Venus is example 10,000 indicates success in artistic career, creativity, and earning from real estate, agriculture. However, it should be noted the prediction may vary based upon the planetary degrees and positions. Okay, dignities and positions in the zodiac. So now it gives the answer. So like maybe if you ask like a very too personal suggestion, it may not give.
Okay.
But maybe because I tried a different question and it gave a very good answer. Uh, maybe I'll try something else also now. My friend is interested in doing engineering. Okay. Planet horoscope should be strong. Now I'm not asking suggestion. I'm just asking what is the strongest planet
Yeah.
in the horoscope should indicate engineering.
Hmm.
The strong Mercury in the horoscope would be beneficial pursuing engineering, as Mercury represents education and intelligence. Okay, I don't think it takes the input as engineering. So generally, because
Yes.
Mercury is
Education.
it take
Uh,
the education and intelligence. So it took only that actually.
yes. Okay, but I think that there are, as astrologers or enthusiasts, we need to understand that there is a specific way in asking a question to this bot, because at the end of the day, uh, it is a bot and it is not an actual human being. So there are ways where we need, although it understands English,
Correct.
and we don't need to use any computer-friendly language like coding languages.
Correct.
Still, we need to kind of try and understand what or how to frame a question to the bot in order to get best answers for anything that we are asking.
Correct.
So,
Correct. Yeah, the one thing is like GPT is one can summarize, rewrite, even write a poem also it can write. Okay, so
yeah.
you can in your query itself you can ask that. For example, can you explain in detail what are the planets houses are important for success in career? Okay, let me ask this one. So now I am asking in detail. So most likely it should give a detailed answer. It won't be like a 1 or 2 line answer, because in my query itself I told it tell it in detail. Okay, I think for detailing it takes time. See, now you can see.
Oh, very
In
good.
astrology, the position of Lord of 10th house is considered important for success in career. The effects of Lord of 10th house in different house can provide general indication of one's career success. For instance, if the Lord of 10th house in first house, the person may have independent profession and become wealthy. So try to give some 4 or 5 examples. If the Lord of 10th house in fifth house, the person may be creative and successful in entertainment industry. Okay, so now it is giving. Even you can ask like short, write a short note on what we can ask. Okay, let me ask Shadbala.
Oh,
Okay, so here it gave the short note. Shadbala is the collective of 6 sources of planetary strength in astrology. The sources include positional, directional, motional. So all strength it gave. Okay, so like this you can frame your question in a way how you want. Detailed answer, short answer, summary. Can you summarize house in
oh,
Vedic astrology? Now it will try to give, like, maybe it may try to go and see like what are the indications for first house, and it may give those answers.
So can we ask qualitative questions like what will be the results if the fourth house is afflicted?
Yeah, we can ask. That
Or
also we can try.
yeah, okay.
So as for my experience with the ChatGPT, like this GPT, if your question is very clear, the answer will be very clear. See,
Oh, I think it gave an article.
so now you summarize first house. So it gives the lot of first house in Vedic astrology can be varying, depends upon which house is in. There are general indication. Lot of first house in the first house can give good health, self-reliance, credibility. So it gave all for 12 houses. Lot of houses, first house in the 12 different houses. So what are the importance? So it gave the summary. Okay, now what you ask, like what happens when the fourth house is afflicted, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, if the Lord of fourth house is afflicted, there may be loss of reputation and possibility of losing landed properties or facing litigation. However, it is important to note the effects of Lord of fourth house can vary depending upon placement in different houses. Okay, that also it is saying. If Lord of fourth house is in the first house, the individual may highly learn but also
May
lose inherited wealth.
Okay.
So now see it says that if the Lord of fourth house is in the 10th house, there may be loss of reputation if it is afflicted, but it can also give successful career and political gains.
Interesting.
Maybe we can reframe the same question. What happens when the fourth house is well placed? Okay, now I am asking what happens if it is well placed. The Lord of fourth house in the fourth house is considered very auspicious placement for in astrology. It indicates happy and comfortable life with all necessary facilities and power. Individual may have a strong connection with their home and family and may also have inherited properties or wealth from the ancestors. So now it clearly understands, okay, what is well placed and what is afflicted. No?
Okay.
So specific questions like specifically about a particular planet in a particular house also we can ask, like when the Lord of 10th house is 6th house, what will be the steps? So you can ask this very specific question to a particular house. When the Lord of 10th house is in the 6th house, the native may achieve success in government service, become a medical professional, and excel in judicial career.
Oh.
However, it is placed in placement is afflicted, the native may face legal issues in their career. Okay, so this how it gives.
Good.
So basically, right now it is trained with like fundamentals of Vedic astrology, like what is astrology, like what is it, some of the fundamental astronomical concepts in astrology. Then like zodiac signs, a lot of different houses, characteristics of each house, bhavas, lordships. So all those things have been trained. Then what is Shadbala? Then a lot of houses in different houses, planets in different houses. So all those predictions it will be able to give.
Okay. I think this is very refreshing.
So like like even astrologers
Very
can use it to refresh the concept. Like whenever they have a doubt, instead of referring to the book, they can just ask here.
Yeah, right. Sure. So now this is for Vedic astrology, but something that just crossed my mind is what if we need to kind of know different forms of astrology, like from a Western point of view, or something like that. So, do we need to give separate feed for that, or
Yes, actually, basically what it happens, it takes the indexes from my own trained data, but when it refine, no, it will use some of its existing knowledge also. Okay.
okay?
So if in the existing knowledge, like if the GPT 3.5 is already have some knowledge about Western astrology, if you ask that question, it will answer. For example, can you tell any query in Western astrology? Let me ask here. Let's see whether it answers.
We can ask like, what is a T square?
T square.
T square, yes.
Should I put a hyphen?
Yeah, hyphen is better.
In Western astrology, should I put?
Maybe, yeah.
Because,
That will be more specific.
yeah,
Or we can ask another question is, what is a yod?
yod. Okay, let's try that
YOD.
also.
Yeah,
Mhm.
just.
So what will, okay. In the broader context, there is no mention of what is T square in the Western astrology. Okay, so now it went into the my trained data. So
Yes.
there, of course, this T square is not mentioned. So that's
Yeah.
why it says it's unaware.
But anyway,
Because,
that's fine. It, it needs some, more building and all those things. But I think
correct.
to start with, I think this is a great initiative and also a platform, not just for enthusiasts, but also for astrologers. Kind of, just.
Let me ask, what is the difference between Western and Vedic astrology? Because this is something I usually cover in my fundamental
Oh, okay.
material. So it should say that actually. Okay, the difference between Vedic and Western astrology are significant. Vedic astrology uses sidereal system based on the observation of planets in fixed zodiac, while Western astrology uses tropical system based on the observation of planet from the vernal equinox. Okay, then it gives, okay, what is sidereal here? And Ayanamsha also it gave. The Western Vedic astrology takes into account of precession of equinox due to the Vet's wobble effect, while Western astrology does not. And Rahu Kedu, no, that is in Vedic and that is not in Western. Of course, Western has Uranus, Neptune, Pluto.
Right.
So those things it gave.
But this is really interesting. So it's.
Yeah, basically it is very useful to understand in elaborate summary. So that is like something I like very much about GPT. Like you can ask in any format and it can give in that format. Even I asked her to write a poem. It wrote a beautiful poem actually.
Very good.
Maybe I'll try that. Can you write a poem about Vedic astrology?
Very good.
Okay, so it is not writing now. Actually, I don't know on that data. As a AI language, I'm not capable of writing a poem about Vedic astrology. However, I can provide information about its origin and purpose.
Oh,
Okay, but actually, it wrote. Maybe I don't know. Can you write a poem about? I think I gave importance of Vedic astrology. This is what I gave. I remember correctly
okay.
about the importance of the spellings and all not necessary because GPT can autocorrect also. Like if it is like a English word, even if you misspell, it will understand. Okay. Okay, now it gave. Yeah, this
Oh,
is exactly the
oh,
same poem I got on that day. So as the stars and planets align, Vedic astrology help us divine the path to success and happiness, guiding us through life uncertainty and stress. Vedic astrology, also known as Jyotisha, is the study of planetary influence on human affairs. I think the first paragraph was very rhyming. After
yeah,
that,
that's one.
I think the last one, with the wisdom of 18 rishis, including Vashishta, Bhrigu, and Garga. Okay. Vedic astrology is like a modern day GPS, helping us to navigate through joy and strife.
Uh,
Okay, so basically the thing is like when you ask a question, sometimes if your answer is not convincing, maybe you can even retry rephrasing the questions. So that's something I am seeing like very often. Like when I ask a question first time, it may give one answer, but if I refine it better, it will give a much more refined answer.
that's very good.
So people can like play around because it's basically it reads the English language and it try to find the answer in our context, right? So
Okay.
basically, the more your language is good, it will also try to give a very good response.
So, how do people get access to this?
So basically, I will provide the landing page. So there people can go. So right now I am having a kind of a subscription model, 1 month and 3 month. So
Okay.
they can take that subscription model. There is a small fee I am taking because this is the OpenAI charges for every query, like based upon the token. So basically, how they charge, no, like 1,000 words is something they consider as a one paragraph. They take it as 1,000 token. Okay.
Okay.
So the question also will be counted as a token, and the answer will also be counted as a token. So for every API call, based upon the number of tokens, they will take some charges.
Okay.
Okay, so basically there will be a minimum subscription charge for this, and once they subscribe, they will be given access to the bot. So once the access is given, they can just go to the Telegram and they type Jyothish GPT and they will be able to chat it. And the same applies for the WhatsApp also. For WhatsApp, I have a private number. So once they get the access, after that they store the private number in their mobile and they can start chatting in the WhatsApp.
Oh, that's great. Like I don't have any other because I think I need. It's now it's very new to me and it's like I'm surprised
Okay.
in many ways. So
Maybe we will tell that. Thank you so much for your answers. How it understood. Because it's like a human, it can respond like a human, like, right? So I see like normal greetings, thank you, all those things it understands very well and it gives very polite answer. Okay, I think it didn't give.
yeah, I kind of took some other.
Some try text it, try to see. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Sometimes it shows it is a bot. Sometimes
Yeah.
it shows it's very clever.
No, I think ultimately it's a helpful tool and that's it. So
Okay. Okay, so that's all I have for demo. Maybe like if somebody have any questions, they can get in touch with me or get in touch with you.
sure. So how long did you work for this?
It took almost 2 months.
It's only 2 months.
No. Basically, there are a lot of help available in the internet, like how to use this GPT, like how you can call. So a lot of free libraries are available. Like because many people are working nowadays, like so many people are working in GPT 3.5. So
Oh,
they are sharing their code, they are giving their ideas. So basically, you need to understand that and customize it for your own needs. So
okay.
like a good programmer can able to do it in 1 month also. It's possible.
Very good then. But I think this is one of the, as far as I know, this is the first initiative for,
I hope so. I don't know, but
yeah,
I would recommend like many astrologers to do this because Like AI is a very new and it is going to be the future. So it is better we embrace it and use it for the betterment. Like definitely for astrology students, it is going to be a very great tool. So they can refer it, and even for the professional astrologer, they can use this as a like a preliminary analysis they can use, and on top of it, they can use their own intuition and their own knowledge and fine tune the predictions. And for common public, they can use it for getting clarified with small doubts. They don't need to wait. Like obviously, like today, most people put it in Quora or Google, right? So when they
Yes.
have questions, Quora, that's how we met actually in Quora.
Yes.
But now instead of asking in Quora and waiting for an astrologer to answer, you can just ask and you will get the answer.
Interesting. That's. I think it's an important step forward that we all need to take. And as you said, every astrologer who is good in programming should feel encouraged to kind of promote and work on these things so that the future of astrology is secured across the world. So,
correct, because the technology, like every 10 years, it's getting updated.
yes.
And artificial intelligence is something very new, and definitely in future, this is going to take, of course, it's going to influence in every industry. And people also like upgraded to mobile, everything right now. Now nobody is taking time to take a book and read because everybody have a phone in their hand. They can just chat and find the answer. So the more we reach the people with what they use, like we will able to take the subject also to very near to them. So that's the whole idea. Like people from India or maybe in Western also, like people can feed the Western astrology knowledge into the artificial intelligence, and it will help many people.
Sure. So congratulations on this. As far as we know, the first bot on astrology. So I think so more than so I feel this is just the beginning of what might actually come in future. So I think this is a great time to start, especially with Saturn, sidereal Saturn in Aquarius. This is the time for innovation and improvement of technology for the betterment of the human race rather than destruction, like what's happening in the world. So I think do you have anything else?
I don't have anything else. That's all I have for today.
So apart from that, people can contact you through innovativeastrosolutions.com,
right? Right. Yes.
You have a course, and your course is very prominent on Udemy, and so I recommend and encourage everyone to check out your course and also your website. So, and congratulations once again.
Thank you so much, Ashwin. And thank you for having me here to present this actually.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.